What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas with another episode of This Week in Vegas, the weekly vlog where we catch you up on what's been happening in the news this week in Las Vegas. Before we get into it, would you take 1 second and subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell so you get this video as soon as it's published each week, as well as all of our other content that we put. And while you're at it, why don't you hit that thumbs up button as well? That helps our channel metrics and helps us continue to grow. But for now, let's get into what's been happening this week in Las Vegas. All right, it has been a pretty slow news week this week in Las Vegas, although there is at least one interesting story, and that's that the Oakland Athletics, the Major League Baseball team from Oakland, has actually put an offer in on some land in the Las Vegas metro area. Now, they haven't disclosed exactly where that plot of land is, but clearly it's in order to build a stadium or to have a proposed site where they could build a stadium in the future. If you haven't been following this story, the Oakland Athletics have been flirting with Las Vegas for quite some time. The team president of the Oakland A's has been in Las Vegas a lot. He's been spotted at some Vegas Golden Knights games, kind of being wined and dined by local business people in the Vegas area. So clearly the Oakland A's have a pretty strong interest in relocating to Las Vegas. Now, if you're familiar with the sports scene in Las Vegas, you probably already know that the Las Vegas area has a minor league baseball team. That is the AAA affiliate of the Oakland Athletics. It's the Las Vegas Aviators. They play in a pretty new stadium in Summerlin. Seats only 10,000, so it's certainly not big enough to host Major League Baseball. Although the company that owns the Las Vegas Aviators, Howard Hughes Corporation, has actually stated that they would offer the Oakland A's free land in Summerlin if the A's were interested in relocating to the Summerlin area. Now, if you're familiar with Las Vegas, you know that the Summerlin area is a good 20 minutes or so from the Strip, straight to the west. And the team, the Oakland A's, has been looking for some land closer to the Strip. Now, let's get one out of the way right now. It's not going to be where the Rio is. That's a long-standing myth, rumor that the Rio was going to be imploded and turned into a baseball stadium. That's not going to happen. The Rio has recently been purchased and is going to be completely remodeled top to bottom and rebranded. So the Rio is not going anywhere. That's far too expensive to buy that, tear it down, and use that land for a ballpark. Interesting that this proposed relocation is another Oakland team. The Oakland Raiders obviously moved to Las Vegas and became the Las Vegas Raiders. No word yet on how they propose to fund a new stadium that is going to cost in excess of $1 billion. It was clearly not very popular that the Raiders needed public financing to help build Allegiant Stadium. So it won't be a popular topic of conversation if the Oakland A's start asking for public money to build their own stadium. Also in the news in Las Vegas, and it's humorous to me that the news revolves around gambling. Why should it not? But jackpots hit the news in Las Vegas all the time. There were 3 really big ones this week in Las Vegas, 2 of them on the slots and 1 of them at the tables. At Main Street Station this week, a Hawaiian visitor playing a Wheel of Fortune double diamond machine on just a $2 bet hit a $1,025,602 jackpot. She played for just 7 minutes before she hit that. Also downtown at Circa, a Southern California woman won $1,075,234 on also a Wheel of Fortune machine. And a Washington man was dealt a 7-card straight flush with a joker at Harrah's at a face-up Pai Gow table. According to the story, he had just sat down, so I'm not sure if that was on his first hand or not. That's a heck of a win. So at least 3 new millionaires made in Las Vegas this week. The one that interests me the most is obviously the woman who won over $1 million on a $2 spin. It can happen to you. It won't, though. Finally, in the news recently in Las Vegas, a couple of bizarre stories. I mentioned it was kind of a slow news week, so I'm going to throw you out 2 interesting, to say the least, stories. We talked about masks a couple of weeks ago. No, I don't have any new news on whether masks are going to go away anytime soon. But if you think that you're tired of wearing a mask, and we all are at this point, are you so tired of wearing a mask that you would beat somebody with a dog bone? I'm guessing not, but that did just happen recently in Las Vegas. 2 men got into a discussion at a PetSmart store in the Las Vegas area recently. 22-year-old Juan Hamilton left the store and returned to beat the other man over the head with a dog bone. Now, I'm just made of questions over this, like, number one, why did he have to leave the store to get a dog bone? I'm sure there were plenty handy. Was he keeping the dog bone in his center console, just in case of emergency? As humorous as it sounds, it's actually not that funny. The other person, the victim in this case, actually suffered a skull fracture. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Finally, this week there were some new details on a bizarre case involving some squatters and a home in northwest Las Vegas. Evidently, an elderly Las Vegas woman had not been heard from in over 2 years, and it turns out she had passed away in her home and nobody knew about it until some squatters entered the home, found her deceased body, and decided to just bury it in the backyard and just live in the house. Yeah, you can't even make that up. That's so bizarre. Evidently, her body had been in a chair in the living room where she passed away for nearly 2 years before she was discovered by these squatters, and instead of calling the police, they said, let's just live here. Seems reasonable. A bizarre story to say the least. Like I said, it was a bit of a slow news week. So that's it for this episode of This Week in Vegas. Like I said, please take a second and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Also give it a thumbs up. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.